Hello and welcome to another episode of Motoring Middle East. Today we're checking out the all-new 2020 Nissan Patrol. Well, all new is a bit of a strong word. It's more like a very extensive facelift, but still, it's an extremely popular car that's sold to thousands of families, big families, because this is an 8-seater with a V8, it's body on frame, it's all the things that people don't really buy in other countries anymore, but are popular in the Middle East because it's so tough and so rugged. So let's check out the Patrol and see what's new. So with Patrol, what they've done is really just changed the front end of it quite a bit. So the old car was a little bit more softer and rounder, and this one's a lot more edgier and harder. So the actual bonnet is now flatter to create sort of that impression of strength, as the designer Ken Lee said. He actually worked on the Nissan Murano. Nice guy, actually. Follow him on Instagram if you can. Nissan now has put the Vmotion Grille, so if you can see it, it is actually kind of a V grille here. Kind of like their Maxima and the Murano. Headlights have been changed as well. They've got these dual stacked LEDs and they're apparently very strong and very light, but you've also got this inverted C shape here. Patrol has had it for a few years, but they just made it a bit stronger and a bit cooler. And if you squint, and I mean really squint, and look at it from this side, it looks a little bit like a Range Rover. This is not necessarily a bad thing. Other details that I draw attention to, there are now two different types of chrome here. Now, there's the classic chrome, which is always denoted luxury, but there's also this new satin chrome. I'm not quite convinced about this finish, but it looks different, and you mixing the two finishes together, again, creates more of an upmarket feel. They've also got the satin chrome down here on this fog lamp finisher. So this is the city bumper, because yes, as before, there are two different bumpers. This one is for city and street. It'll still go off-road, but it's a little bit lower, so it reduces the approach angle. There is an off-road version, which I think is a little bit better looking certainly, and it has the usual 30+ degrees of angle. All right, let's go around to the rest of the car, and if you follow me around, we'll check it out what's going on. Wheels down here, all new design, because what's a facelift without new wheels? Same size as before, 275, 60, 20, so nothing really changed, but it is quite a nice looking wheel. When Patrol first launched almost 10 years ago, it was much simpler, but it's grown more sophisticated and elegant over the years, because that's what the customers want. But what they don't want is change. And if you look at the side of this car, it's almost exactly the same. In fact, it is the same as the Patrol that you all know and love. Pretty much from that fender, from that door pillar here, all the way to the back, it's exactly the same car. It's exactly the same dimensions, it's actually the same space. So calling it all new is a little bit of a stretch. On the other hand, it looks sufficiently different. So that's the important part, right? So out back, what have we got? Again, not a huge amount of change, but I like the updated graphics. I think it's a little bit of a style statement by just making the car even more square, because Patrol, remember, Y62 is a lot softer. So now the bumper has this sort of extended protrusions, which make the car more bulky and boxy. Then when you come up here to the tail lights, you again got these LED graphic. It's actually similar to something that Dodge is doing with their cars, very strong, solid red lights. Of course, you've got LEDs for absolutely everything now. More satin chrome down here with the Patrol badging, massive in case you forgot what car it is. And of course, the chrome strip down here. But again, it's not hugely different, but for people who buy Patrols, it'll be enough to say, I've got the new one. And on the interior, we've got some few changes as well that finally bring the Patrol into the modern generation of technology and infotainment. So one of the things Nissan is super proud of is their iconic cars like Patrol, like GTR, and what we've got with this car is an attempt to evoke one of those cars. Are you seeing it yet? No, it took me a while too. This is actually the same color leather as the Nissan GTR. So they call it actually GTR Tan, the leather on this car. And it's got a lot of really crazy diamond quilt stitching going up and down. It's a very nice effect. So it's a little Easter egg, they say, to the GTR. But I'm pretty sure that people who have Patrols also have a GTR too tucked away. So it is quite nice. The leather, as always, quite soft, quite comfortable, and it is a nice place to be. Let's go up front and see what's going on in the driver's section. So what have we got on the new Patrol interior? Well, it's not really new, but again, I've been saying that a lot. However, it is a nice little update. So things that you'll notice straight away, there are two screens here. We'll come to that in a bit. Down here, I'll look at things that are basically the same, which is the off-road controls, which are the same place and the same technology as before. This controller used to be up here, and now it's been moved down here for slightly easier access. And it kind of makes sense, because if you leave your hand here, that's where it'll naturally fall. The gear stick is about double the height of the old one, so it's easy to rest your palm on it. Smart move. You've also got a QI charger down here. USBs, USB-C as well. So these are all nice little integrations. I happen to know that I think these were done locally. I actually don't think these were done, which is quite cool because we can actually do these things in the UAE. No issue with that at all. Steering wheel's pretty much the same as before. Nice stitching effort, but the same shape. You got this nice Vmotion style main boss here. So what that means basically is that this also copies the main dashboard. If you look at here, the instruments are slightly simplified. I like the old ones. They were kind of based on watch faces, but these ones are a bit simpler. Not really a good or a bad change, it's just different. So if I start the car up, you'll see everything. One thing that Nissan has said they've done, they worked on, is increasing the insulation of the car. So basically reducing more heat and light coming into the cabin, which can only be a good thing. At the same time, they've also improved the AC cooling performance, especially in the back, because a lot of customers in extremely hot places, I believe Kuwait, were complaining that the AC wasn't always able to cool down this gargantuan cabin. So yeah, now with a bit of stronger AC, we should see a difference. Although personally, I never had too many issues. But then again, I try not to wander around in the midday in my Patrol. So dashboard, pretty much new center stack. You've got two screens now. This screen is the same as before. It's a bit weird because I don't know why they couldn't do it down here. But it allows you to basically have two screens. And the advantage of having two screens is you can do Apple CarPlay. And hopefully I can plug this in. If there's a thing. Oh, no, there isn't. Never mind. But you can get Apple CarPlay screen up here. And this is your main navigation map. And it's a bit faster than before. The old one was a little laggy and small and used little controls. This one actually properly speeds up. Otherwise, there's not much you can do here. It's purely for navigation, so it's a bit of an odd setup. Down here is the other screen, which is borrowed from Infinity. And you've got on the other side a waterfall of buttons. This is for climate control, including heated and cooled seats. Heated and cooled seats here. Yeah, it's actually all climate control. Down here, your menu stack options for media. So here you've got main menu. It's a small screen. It's a bit of an odd one. It's quite a small screen. There's a big border around it. I'm not quite sure why they didn't just make it bigger. Compared to everything else out there, it is a bit on the small side. However, it is quite high res and it is quite quick. So you've got menu, phone, etc. Don't go away phone. Information. Where am I? Always a very nice thing with Nissan's. Where am I? In case you've hit your head and forgotten where you are. Connections. You can also do some. Oh well, this is basically your phone connections. Driver assist, this is interesting. So lane assist, so it'll keep the car in lane. Emergency assist, that stops the emergency braking turns. You don't keep it on, obviously. And blind spot, which I think is a must-have feature. And that's pretty much it. It's cool that they have two screens. But at the same time, you think, why couldn't they just have one big screen? It's a bit of an odd one. Other hand, it allows you to have CarPlay and something else playing simultaneously. So overall, good updates. I wouldn't say it's like a must-have reason to upgrade, but I think CarPlay is really cool. Under Auto is really cool. So those are good reasons to upgrade. Let's see what it's like when we take it on the road, shall we? I mean, that's the next big thing if people have seen a big difference. Let's see. So we're on the road with the new Patrol, and what's it like to drive? If you guessed exactly like the old one, you wouldn't be terribly wrong. Behind the wheel, I think they made some adjustments. 30% of the car is new. Doesn't really feel like it. It feels like a pretty solid update. Drivetrain is exactly the same. 7-speed auto, 400 horsepower engine, and of course the 270 horsepower V6. The old 320 horse version is gone, which is a bit sad because I like that the Patrol is one of the few cars that was V8 only. They don't make cars like this anymore, and they probably never will, because a Patrol is a big, thirsty car for people with lots and lots of things and stuff to carry around. So there is a need for it in the Gulf, but other parts of the world, it doesn't really make sense. But the Patrol sells like crazy out here because it's so good at doing what it does. Look, I've got a great view out the front. It's incredibly easy to drive. The steering is like 2-finger light. It's a little heavier than before, but not appreciably so. I don't know if it's electric now. It probably, it could be hydraulic that feels like electric. Not a lot different about the car, to be honest with you. It is quieter. It's so quiet that I can now start to hear the fan noise, because before I wouldn't say it was loud, but you get more of the tire and wind noise. You could see some of that. So yeah, definitely it's a little bit quieter. Is the AC better? Well, right now in the morning the weather is perfect, so it's a bit hard to say, but it definitely feels like it's a good solid AC unit, and the rear AC in particular. The weird thing, okay, let's give it a bit of gusto and see how it is. Oh, that Tennessee built V8 really gets up and goes, doesn't it? Oh, now we got to do a U-turn and do some off-roady bits.
I didn't know this. There is.
It's all right. It goes round. I think it goes round. So keep filming. It's fine.
Yeah.
So we ran out of road, and now we're doing a bit of off-road. I don't think we'll need to switch any of the modes, but let me see how tight the turning circle is on Patrol. Hey, not too bad. All right. We're coming back round. That was good. Well done. Yeah, the power is still excellent. I think if you were buying a Patrol, let me just see the little bumps. What's it like? Oh, it's got decent articulation. Oh, is that actually closed? No, that's open. Hopefully. We're exploring a bridge that's actually closed. This could be very interesting. Yeah, no, the car is still the same as before. It's very, very easy to drive. Is it an off-road car? I struggle with that because Patrol is quite a big car. So in the desert, you want smaller cars. Like this is even bigger than a Land Cruiser. But it has all the stuff that matters, diff lock, etc. So it'll do camping and beaches, and it's got plenty and plenty more power. So is it a good update, this Patrol? It's an update. That's what I'll say about it. They've changed some stuff. I think people who were looking for more changes or all new platform might be a little bit disappointed. But people who like the same car but just sort of improvements will be happy. Look, the best way to think about this Patrol is as follows. It's not iOS 13. It's not dark mode. It's more like iOS 13.1. So they kept on increasing it and updating it, and that's one way of doing it. It's not a full change. Full change is still a few years away, I think, and that'll be interesting to see. It'll probably go to a slightly lighter platform. But this car kind of exists in a class of one, along with the Chevy Tahoe, the Denali XL, the Ford Expedition as big body-on-frame cars. Not many places in the world need as much as we do. For that, the Patrol is still the best option. And especially in this market, I think they've now made it every option, because I can't live without my CarPlay. Thanks for watching. This has been great. I'll get the full car. We'll do a nice review on it in Dubai. I'm Imtishad. This is Motoring Middle East. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, etc., etc., etc. See you soon.